Hi everybody, just thought I'd drop a little video instead of the short messages on Twitter. Just going through social media after my recovery, bit of cardio after weights, and once again you see some people with some great ideas and knowledge and understanding of elements they believe in, just not having good dialogue, just statement to statement, question to question, with no real openness, and it seems like it never goes anywhere. It seems like it's the broken record. It almost looks, I mean, it's worse than the Brexit deal of sorting out the shore control with our seas. It's unbelievable, really is. What I'm getting from it, and it would be fantastic in 2021 if this could happen, and I'll put an if on it because I'm not sure if it could, is that we just better understand each other first. Take that time to understand even meaning to things. Don't jump on posts just to subtly knock someone else, like slating the word toolkit, slating it depends, slating another person's opinion because it doesn't align to yours. I mean, that's not what it's about, right? It's about really understanding and really getting into wanting to understand people. I mean, empathy, social skills, great coaching is about really understanding, being open, and then taking time to respond. And sometimes you can agree to disagree. But what's got to be unacceptable is just this bouncing back. And for me, everything's got to be about who's it for. Can a coach on the ground learn to do it and apply it? Are there working models people can go and see? Are there video clips to show the transition from someone not using it to using it? So for me, it depends is great if it follows some quantifiability. My interpretation, it's only my opinion. I think I've been lucky enough to work from grassroots to pro level around the world in over 30 sports now. So I feel when it comes to a practitioner really impartially observing, I think I've got a good understanding of what goes on the coalface, if you like. And I also understand the massive value of academia and research. Here's the challenge though. When we look at the research, what we've got to do is look at conflicting research as well. If we're going to look at it, we've also got to look to the context of who delivered it, when they delivered it, what scenario was it in, where were the limitations, who delivered it, under what length of time, what were the athletes doing. So here's an example. As you know, my work is all about need-centered approach. And if you want to get on my website, pdscoach.com, and look at it, there's podcasts on there, video examples of using in action with coaches and an understanding of it. But the short version is I want to develop coaches that can develop athletes so athletes can self-think live with confidence, being able to read the game, whatever it is, live, ongoing, stay present, and then make a judgment call in the moment based on what they see and commit to that choice. Being able to understand the variables and the influences that could influence the choice. It's never clean. We know an example would be for rugby, for soccer, for hockey, for lacrosse, etc., for basketball, for netball. You understand that a choice you may make now on a pass, whatever it may be, will be different based on your teammates on the court, on the pitch at that time, because their fatigue, what state they're in, the skill level of your teammates will depend on what choice you can make. So there's all these variables we get to, and then you make a choice without fear. Then you review the choice live separately, the option you took, the choice, and the execution. Also, you interact with the people around you to get the best out of them. So this is ongoing, and the coach's ability is all based on where are my athletes now? Where do I want to get them to? And the judgment I can make in the moment based on, am I in the present? Is my state good? What am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I sensing? What is success for us right now? And then I make a judgment on the intervention I'm going to do, whether that's a one-to-one in practice, whether it's I'm manipulating the situation using constraints, whatever you'd like to call it, whether actually I'm pulling a player to the side and I'm just asking and influencing that player that they can sort it out. Do I give the players a 30 seconds timeout live? Do I let it go to see if they can figure it out themselves? Do I need to stop play and just get them to review that themselves? Do I need to stop play and do a breakout? Because it's quite clear to me all the constraints and everything I'm doing, the source of the issue is not being fixed. So there's an understanding issue. So I will stop play. We will talk through it. We may walk through it. We may do what some people call a drill, which would be a breakout where we may walk through it We may do it for a few reps just so people can understand and get their head around what the options are, what you're seeing. And then once we go, okay, have you got it, guys? And we go back into live play. That's an example where my interpretation of how some people would use say drill would be of value. We're establishing a baseline. We're attempting to keep things live, but actually in the moment we're making a judgment on, yes, we may get there, we may not, but it might take weeks. It might take hours, but actually a short intervention of breaking, stimulating some understanding, getting them to walk through and see, doing some reps on that so they can see and understand the people around them, then going back in, is not compromising on developing athletes to make great choices live. We're still doing that, but in the moment we're making a judgment of that in itself is the right thing to do. This is very different than someone saying, okay, 50% of my practices, we're just doing rep drills and players aren't making decisions. You know, my work is very much about, even with novices, we can develop ways where we can develop their scanning, what they see and hear, their judgment and making decisions based on developing the drill. But it doesn't mean to say we do that all the time. We can do that based on that's where we want to get to, but there will be times when we do what I call the breakouts, which what someone else might call a drill, but we're doing it with intention based on judgment. Here's the other thing. It's a skill and ability of the coach at the time. One, to be able to see the things. Secondly, be able to make the judgment based on what they believe at the time. And then their ability, importantly, is their competence of the application of that intervention. So a one-to-one with someone that's highly skilled, and there's coaches I work with and others I've seen that are very good at this, could pull a player out, say, okay, review what happened over there. What are you seeing? Whatever it may be, the language they've agreed. And that player within 20 seconds can give the answer and the solution and the strategy, and the coach can pop them straight back in again using that player first, player last principle. You need skills to do that. Not only that, you need to develop the players around you so they can make that skill as well. So they have the ability to self-review live. So when you come in, they're not standing there waiting for a bunch of questions from coach and them just reacting to the questions. They already know the answers. And most of the time they'll be able to adapt them live, but they may have missed a trick. They may have missed something, maybe an understanding issue. That's where the coach can put the interventions in. But that's a skill level. So what we're saying is, if we're looking at the data to say, I have evidence to say any drill that is just a repetition type drill, there is no value in it, against just the gameplay type approach, then my question would be is, where's the other group that was a combined with players that were developed in the athlete-centered, need-centered way? They could self-review live. They have interdependency where they can, in live play, communicate without, accept feedback, adapt without the need for the coach. So when we're looking at the data, we've got to ask ourselves, and I'm struggling at the moment to find data with a combined approach with coaches that are using an athlete need-centered approach. And here's the challenge. What we can't do is continue to smash heads. What we want to do is go, well, hang on, let's work together. Let's see, let's set something up. Let's find some teams of different abilities in different sports and let's set it up. Let's do it real. Let's do this collaboration of understanding each other to identify. And I feel, is it possibly that people don't want to be caught out? People don't want to actually say, actually, from what you've said and from what I've seen now, I am thinking a bit differently and I will change my mind. But this goes back to great coaching, right? Great coaching is about, even a player might say something and that may influence your decision as a coach because you're listening openly. So it may be like a basketball coach saying, like, I want you to play this way. And the players on the court are thinking, well, surely we're more confident than this way. And surely this is going to work for us. And we're more competent at doing this as well. Now, a great coach will go, well, hang on a minute. Talk to me about that. What's the value? What do you mean by that? What would that look like? Okay, could you show me? Let's put it under pressure. And if it works, we'll go with that. Because the reality of the day, you're the guys that are going to do it. You're the guys that need a confidence in it and can apply it under pressure in long-term recall, not just in short-term memory. So, okay, let's go with that. I've now changed my mind as a coach based on the data I've got coming in. How often do we see that on Twitter? I'm not seeing it often enough. So it's a bit frustrating with me because I actually value the people on both sides. I think there's some great people out there, and it just frustrates me that they can't have a type of dialogue that's open and embracing, that is really helping the people listening and reading it actually understand and get on. I also feel at times there's some coaches that don't want to get in that interaction anymore because they feel they're getting shut down. They feel someone saying, where's your evidence? Or tell me, well, why on earth would you do that? And the style of language is just scaring people off. So actually, we're now dividing people. And as you've seen on a lot of the podcasts and the YouTube interviews I've had, we need to get away from that fence, and we need to look contextually. Who is it that's using these principles? What does it look like? Let's talk about judgment. Let's talk about boxing, for an example. All these sports, can you give me real examples? And can we just go in and find some places to bring it alive? I've offered to quite a few that have been, hitting heads to come to one of my sites, not my sites, I should say, sites that are using my principles with coaches that are really keeping it alive and working really hard and smart to grow. They're not just pure on my stuff, they're interpreting a lot of other elements and integrating. That's what I like about my stuff. It's not only do this, it's giving you a fundamental baseline and then you make judgment on what you bring in. There's Evo Soccer, Evo Rugby in Sheffield. They'll happily invite anyone in when we're safe to do so. You've also got Alan Keane in Reading. There's people in the States that are working it. There's people on the east side of London, Canterbury Tennis example. All these people around and so many others that they were happy for you to come down and show you. You can observe it. You can ask questions. And I feel that's what we need right now, because the reality is all this theory surely is about helping the coaches help the athletes. That's what it's about, surely. So unless we can show that, unless we can show the very coaches we want to understand this and not be confused with it, really say I can translate this, and importantly, not just understand it and translate it, I know how to get good at it and I can apply it and I can integrate it within the coach. It's going to allow me to make better judgments that impactfully will positively impact on my athletes. Now, importantly, when I say athletes, I'm talking everyone. So this is about the grassroots kid that just wants to stay engaged and wants to come back the next week to play in that sport. This still applies to them. It still applies to the elite person that is feeling maybe a bit lost in the team. They've moved up and they're now not performing at the way because they've stepped up a level. They've moved up A groups, now it's confusing for them. Even the elite people that have been there it still applies. It applies to everybody. So if you're what I call those grassroots, and we're talking about, let's just keep people coming back, let's help them become better human beings, let's give them a place where they feel part of it, they feel that they're accepted, they feel that uniqueness is embraced. It doesn't matter how bad they're doing at school or what the other part of their life is, they know they can come to you and they know it's a positive environment to be in, firm, fair and friendly. They also know they're going to learn skills that actually the way they think and do, the choices they make in life, making informed choices and commit to, they can use in every part of their life. It's exactly the same if we're using that with the highest level elite professional sport. It's the same. How can we impact those people? So if we can just in 2021, just come together, take away, and I'm going to use the word egos because I think there was a little bit going there, but if we just focus on why are we sharing this information? Who's it for? Well, it must be for the influencers, the coaches, the part-time parents, coaches, the senior coaches, the teachers, anyone of influence that actually is influencing students, players, athletes at all age groups, all abilities. Are they helping them become better people? Are they helping them keep them into the sport? Are they helping them grow? That's what it has to be about. Everything else is a facilitator of it. So if we get so caught up in we want to prove a point, we want to challenge someone, and we're realizing over time and time again it's going nowhere. Maybe if we were good coaches, we'd be saying, I'm using this approach in my session and we're no further forward than we were 2 years ago. You would not be using that same approach. You'd change the approach. You'd evaluate and go, what's working, what's not, what do I need to change? And that's the type mentality I feel we need to start going through on this social media, because I just don't feel it's helping anyone. And as I said, I value everyone from both sides, but why on earth have we got sides? Why can't we just break that down, understand each other, find places, collaborate in real places where we can actually explore it with real coaches, not someone that's highly skilled in it, highly knowledgeable, someone that's just a grassroots coach and a pro coach, and go, okay, let's support you to see how you can integrate this. Let's make judgment, let's record it, let's review it. An integrated approach, not an exclusive approach, because I just don't feel that it's real and it's adding any value at all. So I hope this hasn't come across as a vent. There is a little bit of frustration in here. I'm just asking everyone in 2021 just to think about, when I'm interacting on Twitter, on social media, if I was a coach interacting on the ground, would I be effective right now? And if not, what do I need to change? And let's change it. If we can collaborate, there's so many great minds and brains that are really passionate, and I don't feel anyone is not passionate about helping people, because if you are, please be silent, because you're adding no value at all. But I feel everyone is passionate about what they believe in. I just feel we just need to be better communicators to help understand first and then collaborate to make it simpler for coaches to understand it, to understand how to apply it, and take them on that journey of self-development and self-discovery, and give them simple tools. They can still disagree, it's fine, but I don't feel it's helpful for everybody to disagree as they are. So let's go for that. That would be success for me in 2021. If I can help in any way, if there's anyone who wants to integrate with me, I've got 3 exciting projects coming up in different sports. All being well, potentially we're verbally agreed, we're going for it, and they're around the country. They're full needs-centered interventions. We will be using all the tools integrated together, but our focus will always be getting the athletes to be able to do it themselves live, making decisions. But there will be times on judgment where we feel, okay, let me stop, let me do a breakout, let me put some repetitions for understanding in, and then we integrate it back. It's not about doing loads and loads and loads of reps. It's, okay, is this helping you understand? Can we walk through? Can we see? What are you seeing? Let's slow it down. Doesn't always have to be live manipulating the situation, because sometimes that doesn't work, and we're dependent on the skill of the coach. How can we make it simple for the coach to apply these things? Not if I was the best in the world I could do it, because that's not reality. It's how can we add value to coaches. So thanks for the listen. If you agree or disagree, please quantify it, please share. Let's collaborate next year. Let's make it a year of understanding each other first, finding real practical sources, and remember the reason why we're doing this: to help the influencers, help the people of every age become better people, to keep them in the sport and help them perform better within it. Awesome work, guys. Thank you for the listen. Thank you for the semi-rant, and I hope it made sense. Off for post-training food now.